Hello everyone, welcome back. It is great to see all of your smiling faces beaming back right at me. Now, today we're going to talk about what to look out for when you're buying a pair of second-hand skis, because it can be a little bit confusing. You turn up to someone's house or meet in a car park and the whole process can happen quite quickly. So there are some things that you want to make sure you ask the seller and some things to have a look at on the skis to make sure that you know what you're getting and that it's good. As usual, you'll find timestamps and links in the video description below, and if you have any questions, please ping them in the comments. Okay, so very simply, when you meet someone who wants to sell you their second-hand skis, there are just a few questions that you should ask as a bare minimum. Obviously, if you think of something else, definitely worth asking too. The first question is, how old are the skis and how long have you had them for? Because they might be second-hand even to these guys. Second, what kind of skiing have you done with them and how much of it? Because there's a big difference between teaching on the green slopes or the blue slopes and racing down as fast as you can or going off-piste where it's much more likely you're going to hit a rock or scratch your skis up in some way. Thirdly, you should ask the seller why they're selling the skis, because if there's anything wrong with the skis, you should know about it, and that could mean that you don't buy them. And if it's because, for example, they've bought a new pair of skis and don't need these ones anymore, that gives you a bit more confidence that the ones that you're buying are good. And lastly, I'll just wrap up with a question asking, is there anything else that I should know about these skis? But nothing beats a hands-on examination, and so in the next part, we're going to talk about the different things you should look for when you're examining your prospective new pair of skis. So I've got my pair of skis here. These are the ones that I used for racing when I was at Cambridge, and the first thing for you to have a look at are the bases. So you want to look all the way down, tip to tail, and check that they are really black and smooth. What you're looking for is a smooth black surface all the way down, as few nicks and gouges as possible, definitely no big holes, and if you can see through to the base, which is normally white or brown if it's wood, then ask them about that and consider it. Also, something to look out for are base repairs, which are holes in the base which have been refilled with a different kind of plastic. This plastic is less strong than the original base material and doesn't bond as well to the rest of the ski, so it can come out again. And particularly if you're using race skis, there should be a bit of an orange flag or red flag about whether or not you should buy them. The second thing you'll want to have a look at are the edges of the skis, which run down both sides. On a new pair of skis, the edges will be about 5 or 6 millimeters deep. As the skis get older, the metal gets worn off, and when you're sharpening skis as well, it gets taken away. So it gets narrower and narrower. If you're looking at 1 or 2 millimeters, it's probably not worth buying the ski because they haven't got enough edge to last you for a long period of time. You should also have a look along the whole length of the edge and see if there are any big nicks taken out of it. If the edge is warped or twisted in any way as well, it's probably not worth buying because that shows that it's been in the walls quite a lot. Don't worry about a bit of rust, that's totally fine, and with a bit of sharpening it'll come straight off. Okay, turning the ski over a bit now, you're going to have a look all the way down the sidewall of the ski, which is the white bit of plastic just next to the edge. And what you're looking for is that it's totally flush all the way down. Particular bits to look out for are in this section here, in the top foot of the ski, particularly under the bindings and the bit right underneath your feet where the bindings are, and also towards the rear tip. If you can see any gaps between the metal and the plastic where you can get your fingernail in, it looks like a black line normally, then that's a big warning sign and possibly not worth buying the ski. You can fix the gap, as I've done with these Rossis, but it's often not worth the effort, and particularly if you're buying it second hand, probably worth shopping around and seeing if you can find something else. Once you've had a good look down the sidewall and checked your skis aren't delaminated, then turn them over, make sure that the covers are alright. Lots of nicks and bumps won't really make a difference to how the ski performs. And then the last thing to check are the bindings. So ski bindings vary a lot between different brands, so the ones that you buy might not look exactly like these do, but the key parts are the toe piece, the heel piece, and the brakes. So it's worth checking that all of those work. It's also worth bringing your boots with you when you go to make sure that they do actually fit into the ski bindings, because there's nothing worse than buying a pair of skis that you think are great, coming home and finding that they have non-adjustable bindings and that they're just not going to work with your boots. It's also important to note that there's a big difference between recreational bindings and race bindings. Recreational bindings tend to be very easy to adjust and are well suited to switching out skis when you're sharing them with other people. Race bindings tend to be more difficult to adjust and often have a special race plate which sits between the binding and the ski, lifting the binding a little bit higher off the ski, meaning that you can get more angulation and power as you go through the turn, because it makes the ski a bit stiffer. These bindings are generally better, but you should just be careful because they tend to be less adjustable, and so my point about checking that your boots fits really comes in. By the time you've done all of these things, you should have a pretty good idea of what the ski you're buying is and what kind of condition it is, so then you can make a good judgment about whether or not you should buy it. If you've enjoyed this video, then I have a custom playlist which will be linked somewhere here where you can see all of my other ski related content. And also please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It takes 2 seconds for you and it makes all the difference to me. So that's all from me. Thanks very much and until next time.